Yes, sir.
Cool. So just based on yesterday's, what you did, was there any sort of chemicals that you came across that looked a little bit confusing that maybe you didn't know how to work out the molecular formula for, not the molecular formula, the molecular mass, or do you think it was pretty straightforward? Is there anything that you'd like me to quickly go through? So you're happy with most of the molecular formulas? If it's got the brackets and stuff, you just multiply out like you would in maths, and then you find the formula. Also, just make sure that for today's lesson, and always again, just make sure you have a piece of paper and a pen with you, so that we can do questions and answers simultaneously. So if you have a pen and stuff, whatever I'm writing here, just make sure you copy down with as well. Okay, so let's start with an example of a chemical reaction that could take place. And then what we're going to do is we're going to write the chemical equation. We're going to work out the molecular masses of all the chemicals. And then we're going to see what the problem with that is. And then we're going to fix the problem by balancing it. And we can see how balancing the equation also fixes the problem. Okay, so let me show you how this would work. So we can start with a very simple chemical reaction. We can say hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water, so good old-fashioned H2O. It's a good combustion reaction because we can use hydrogen as a fuel and there's no carbon dioxide produced, so it's what they call a clean fuel. The question is, where do you get the hydrogen? But that's for another topic. I'm just putting it into context for you. So this would be combustion of hydrogen. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to just break it into 3 little sections. I want you to put a line there, and I want you to put a line there. And all I want you to do is I want you to work out the molecular mass for each molecule. So like you did yesterday, just work out the molecular mass for each molecule. Remember that they're all molecules, none of them are atoms. They're all bonded to something. Also have your periodic table and work out the molecular mass for each molecule. And then just give me a thumbs up when you're done. Cool, Laura's done. It'll help if you have a periodic table somewhere. So I can't put it on the screen now, unfortunately, because it's going to be too difficult to switch back and forth between the iPad and the computer. So you're going to need a periodic table with you somewhere. Good, I think everyone's done. Cool, so just quickly, somebody, Mia, Laura, Inesh, someone just quickly, what's hydrogen? I'll just pick on someone, just Inesh.
2.
2 for hydrogen, and then Inesh, you can just do oxygen while you're there.
16.
Careful, it's a molecule. 16 times 2. Correct. So I'll write that in brackets. So that's 16 times 2. So the final answer is 32. But that's the one that we're interested in. But you're absolutely correct. That's the working out. And then you can do the working out for the water as well, just so that, well, we can keep it the same. Oof, so for water.
So it's 2 plus 16 is 18.
Correct. 2 plus 16. And the final is 18. And that would be the total. Now what we're going to do is we got to think of these in terms of left-hand side versus right-hand side. And we've got to say, okay, if there's an arrow over here, there's an arrow there. We've got to say, what is the combined mass of these two? So what is MR plus MR here? And what is the MR over there? So just add the 2 on the left before the arrow, and then obviously just put the 18 back where it is. So you can just put the 18, whoopsie, not that one. We want that, the 18 would stay there. Sorry, and then just give a thumbs up when you're done with that quickly. Also add the 2 molar masses together. Laura's done. Cool, so it might sound a bit confusing, but all I'm saying is add the molar mass of the hydrogen and add the molar mass of the oxygen together. Good. So that's pretty straightforward. And then Inesh, this is your question, so you can just carry on. What's the total on the left-hand side?
34.
Correct, 34. Now I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking, but what are you thinking? What is it that doesn't make sense about that? Just in terms of, if you think about I'll give you an example. If I take an egg and if I take flour and if I take milk, and if I take the total mass and let's say it's 100 grams.
Also, I understand.
You understand? Yeah. So to explain it.
So it's basically, how come if you add both of them together, it equals to 34, but them
Correct.
combined is only 18?
Exactly. So I couldn't have said
that's
it better
what
myself.
Doesn't make sense.